Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal X, NGR Radio's Xbox podcast. I'm your host, Eddie V, and as always, we have to throw up the X. Yes, because we're about to throw down. It might seem a little bit long because Skype wants to act like a baby. Oh, wow. Did you just turn it?
Not me.
You Missy Elliott did it.
Oh, wow.
Automatic, supersonic, hypnotic, funky, fresh.
Oh, wow.
Flipped.
Flip it back and reverse it.
Yep.
Actually, that song was playing in the car when I was coming home from work. Everybody, joining me is the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going?
And that's Jay Dilla, everybody.
Jay
Boss
Dizzle.
man. Jay Dizzle. Jay Dilla is the producer. Dang it, he's been on my mind for
Do I need to teach you Ebonics?
You know what? If a black person has to learn Ebonics from a white person, we are in trouble.
I don't know what kind of conversation we're walking into here. I'm just going to look up at the clock and realize that it's almost 2 a.m.
In other words, Jesse, I'll hit you up with Messenger.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Joining me, of course, is Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig.
Ed, did you know that we have a giveaway?
We do?
We do.
Corey, please break it down for our people.
Okay, so for the month of February, we have acquired a 3-month pass to Game Pass. So
Yes.
if you want 3 months of Game Pass for free, you should. Here are your steps to acquire 3 months of Game Pass. A, subscribe to Arsenal X's YouTube page. 2, post it. Did I just say A and then 2?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I don't care. 2, go to Arsenal X's Facebook page, facebook.com/groups/ArsenalX. And,
Trace.
yeah. You should post your craziest or best Xbox moment along with an image of your screenshot of your subscription. So you should do that. And that's how you enter. You screen cap your subscribe. You subscribe to Arsenal X. You screen cap it, post it in the Arsenal X YouTube or Facebook page, and tell us your favorite Xbox memory. And
Yes.
we will choose the winner at random. So basically, what we're trying to do is garner a better community for Arsenal X because Nerds Gone Platinum's doing well. Nerds Gone Rogue and Nintendo Power Block are doing great, and we want that same success for Arsenal X. So
Yes. And I apologize, everybody. I need to do more
no,
with the
we
page
all
and
just,
stuff.
we all do enough. We're just busy people, you know. We just got a lot of things, you know. You're working and doing optional opinion, and we got a lot going on, man. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Just, yes. Thank you, Corey.
Do I need to remind everybody one more time before we move on, or you think they got it? You think people got it?
Let's break it down to them one more time.
Okay. Step 1, subscribe to Arsenal
Yes.
X on YouTube. Step 2, if you're not joined the Arsenal X Facebook page, you should go to the Facebook page and join.
And it is Arsenal X, NGR Radio's Xbox podcast group on Facebook.
Yeah. So you should go there. Also, the link to the Facebook page is also in the description of the video. So you can just click that link. Join if you're not already joined. Step 3, post an image, a screen cap of your subscription to Arsenal X on YouTube, and put your favorite Xbox memory. There we go. Yep.
Yes.
That's it. That's it.
Simple.
Three easy steps.
And there's a ton of games on Game Pass.
Yes,
Jesse,
there are 168 games on Game Pass right now. including almost all of Microsoft's first party. So
Yes,
Yep.
Jesse and Corey, they definitely enjoy it. I continue to hear great things about it. I get excited when people join up and game that way, because it still keeps people in the community, in the the Microsoft community, and they're still able to game on the budget.
Also, you'll get Game Pass just in time for Crackdown 3.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and like games like Ashen, it's like good just for that game alone. Like there's a lot of good games in there, but like Ashen is like one game that I can't suggest people play enough.
Also, Hellblade's in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a game you should be playing.
The new version of Sea of Thieves is up
Yep.
there,
Yeah.
Yep.
which I gotta take it off my system and re-download it.
All that content they're doing for that game is free, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember because usually what they do is they'll get you in and then you pay for the expansions, right? Like that's how they're doing it. But like I just keep forgetting to see if these content is free. So
Yeah, they wanted it to be basically a world that just keep adding on to.
yeah.
And plus, they got one of the best games on there, Forza Horizon 4,
Yeah.
and Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think Rise and Tomb Raider, the definitive edition. I think both of them are on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm
I think
wondering
Rise is on there.
how long until Shadow of the Tomb Raider is on there.
I bet like 2 months.
Yeah. I could
Yes.
see them because I haven't bought it or played that yet, so that's
yes.
definitely will be a day one download for me.
It is our game of the year of 2018 for Xbox. You gotta play it.
I'm just saying. I guarantee you're gonna be able to go. You're gonna be able to get it soon.
Yeah.
But we're gonna all get into what's been in our arsenal because there's something that we've been trying to play, and there are games that we have been playing. So I'm definitely gonna start with you, Corey. What's been in your arsenal?
A lot of Destiny 2, I should say. A lot of Destiny 2. Some Anthem, because we've been able to play the VIP demo, which you can head on over to Javelins for Hire for some Let's Plays of that, or NGRadio.com. And let's see, in terms of Xbox, Mutant Year Zero I've played a little bit of, because that game is really cool, and I'm like at that point where like I want to keep playing it, but I also want to like wait to see if it comes to Switch because I really want to play it. But now I'm at that point where like it's on Game Pass, I'll play it until it comes to Switch and then I'll just buy it.
Yeah.
So I've been playing some of that, and also this week played some Halo 5. We had that discussion about Halo, Ed, earlier this week, I guess.
Yeah,
And,
Tuesday.
And it really got me in the mood to play some Halo, so I played some Halo 5.
Yeah, I haven't
What
played
were we
that in a
talking
while.
about? Oh, yeah, the Master Chief Collection is...
Yeah, because we was playing Destiny 1.
Yeah.
And-
By the way, that big Halo 5 news, or Halo Master Chief Collection news, they added like some sort of new aiming assist thing that makes it feel more like Halo 5 instead of the old Halo games.
When did they announce it?
Like last week at some point.
Yeah, it was. I think
It was literally like right after we talked about it.
But I thought they were saving it for a certain date.
I don't know. I just know they added that aiming. I forget what it's called, but it's some sort of weird aiming thing that they added.
Was it for GDC? No,
I don't know. I just know that that's what they did. So
because everybody was wondering if it was going to be like I think Halo Reach.
Yeah.
Or
man, I wanted it to be Halo Reach. That way, all the games would be backwards compatible, and then we would actually have another 4-player Halo game to play through.
I still got to get ODST and
I guess
Reach.
I guess ODST we still have.
Yeah.
I guess we still have that.
But I had to buy it.
Yeah, and you also have to be off on a day where we're playing games. So
That's in the prayer list.
Can I get
Did you
an
light
amen?
Did you light a candle? Did you light a candle
not
at church?
We're not Catholic.
I know, but it doesn't matter. You could have used all the help you can get.
Can I get
Pretty
an
much,
amen?
yes.
Can I get an amen? Nah.
I'll light one. I'll light one on Monday for you, Ed.
Wow.
I'll just go walk across the street from work.
Right. Thank you.
Wow. That's all I have to say. Wow. Wow.
That's all been in your arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, there's not
Division.
really... What?
Division.
Yeah, a little bit of the Division, too, I guess. I mean, that's a lot for me. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, I've been trying to play more games lately because I've been working on a lot of stuff, like just editing and stuff, so... But yeah, I mean, Destiny 2, I'm leveling my Warlock up. I'm trying to repair the Talisman to get into the Dreaming City, which I know I should have probably already done that, like, 6 months ago at this point, but I'm here now, so.
Did you get the achievement for your hunter?
Nope.
Or are you still working on it? Okay.
Nope. No, it's a broken achievement. If you use the spark, you don't get it, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so you gotta so you gotta replay your hunter
Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yep. Which kind of
Wow.
sucks, but that's, you know what, it's fine. Whatever.
In other words, you'll do it.
Yeah, it takes forever, but I'll do it, I guess, just for the achievement. I'm a sucker.
And that's all been in your arsenal?
Yeah, let's see. Anthem was really cool. I really enjoyed what we played of it. It feels really good to play. Like, the flying feels fantastic. The weapons feel really good. The kick feels good. It feels like a really, really well polished version of Mass Effect in terms of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mass Effect, like 2 and 3, I would say. I really, really like the flying, the hovering, like anything that you do airborne. And I unlocked the Colossus javelin right at the end of our playthrough, and we played I played one mission with it with Jesse, and that's good. I feel like that's gonna be my javelin of choice, man. Like, it just feels really good to just when you're flying above a group of enemies and you just hit the Y button for your melee and you just slam down onto a huge group of enemies.
Yeah.
Dude, it feels so good when you wipe them all out. Or like when you use the mini nuke, like the mini nuke kind of super weapon, like, oh, and it takes out, like, you're fighting this boss and you get your super and you just hit it and you take out like 2/3 of its life with one super because you're literally shooting miniature nukes at them.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good, dude. Oh, I love it. Not that the Ranger doesn't feel good, but like the other classes are where it's at.
Did they allow you to choose any class out of the four?
Yeah.
Or
you have to what you do is you play as the Ranger, and then once you reach a certain level, you have the ability to choose which javelin you unlock next. And then you just unlock the javelins as you go, but you get to choose which ones you unlock in order the way you want to unlock them.
and that's like after the first mission, like third. I think it's third trial or something like that.
Well, when I was level 12 is when they prompted me to do that. So
Okay,
as
because they
soon as I
start you
hit
off
level
at
12.
level 10, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
as soon as you
Okay.
hit level 12 in the demo is when they prompt you to pick a javelin. And I obviously picked the Colossus because that's the
Colossus.
one I've been looking forward to since they pretty much showed that there are more javelins than just the Ranger. So it's cool, man. It's awesome.
I wonder, how did you guys do the whole demo, or is there was just it wasn't
Jesse-
too much?
Jesse finished all the main missions somehow. There's only a few main missions, but we didn't do the
Yeah, I think there's like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
3, I think.
we didn't do the strongholds, or we didn't do the free roam missions or anything. But, Jesse finished, or I guess that means I did too. Although I didn't do any of the story stuff, I just waited for Jesse to talk to everybody, and then we played his game. So, and I just joined up on him. But
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know if they were still having like loading problems or a lot of that got fixed.
Oh, I mean, they're still
Yeah, most
having
of it
loading
got
problems.
fixed.
Oh, they're still having issues.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, we got in, but like when we would load into a mission, I think Jesse, you restarted your game like 3 times during our play session.
Yeah, like every time we'd load into a mission, you'd be fine, you'd be into it, but then mine would freeze. But I'm wondering if it's because I have the OG Xbox and it just wasn't. It just for whatever reason, it's just not working as well on it.
I really don't know because I've been having since I got the Slim. I've been having those problems.
Yeah.
So
well, but the last time you played would have been the last time Corey played when he was having those issues as well. But now, like from what I understand, they've been doing a lot of working on it all day long. And so I would imagine by tonight when we played it that they would have had most of that stuff figured out. But I don't know.
I'll probably try
because Corey's never froze during that stuff, but mine did every single time. So
I'll probably try it after the recording. It's just that when I got it, like I said, we're trying to get into the mission. It would just show that one thing, and nothing would happen after that. So that's why I wonder if that got fixed. That's why I was when I asked earlier about the triangle thing, if they was gonna have that, because I think they need that. They need something to let you know that the game is loading. Not just at different parts and stuff.
Yeah. I think they did take that out in some of the loading screens, and it just shows a bar, a loading bar, getting filling up at the top of the screen. But what would happen is it would go to do the final load. You know how sometimes when it's loading something, it will go really fast at the end, and then next thing you know, you're in the game. Yeah. Well, it would do that, but then it would stop with like 5% of the bar left, and then it would just sit there frozen.
Yikes.
So,
okay. Well, Jesse, what's been in your arsenal?
All right. So, I was also playing Anthem. I played like an hour and a half this morning, and then we played like 2.5 hours just recently or whatever. And I'm loving that game. Like, it's a bummer the demo's having issues, but I'm not really worried about it as far as the actual game goes. Mm-hmm. But what we've been playing and stuff has been just amazing and a lot of fun, and like just everything looks great. And like I don't know, man, it's just gonna be a special game, I think. But I also played some Division by myself earlier this week, and finished that up for the most part, because all I had left to do for the longest time now is just that final mission. Mm-hmm. The final end mission where you go up against the helicopter or whatever, and I just was having trouble beating it at the time. And because I didn't have all my all the bases or whatever leveled up completely, so what I did is I just basically went and I finished a couple of things to get the assets or whatever, the currency that I needed to 100% all the areas in the building and unlock everything. And then I just went and finished it. So like I really didn't have much to do left, as far as like the beginning stuff. Mm-hmm. I wasn't quite level 30 yet, so that's kind of what I was trying to do, is grind to get that leveled up, so then I could 30. So I could get the actually go to do the dark zone stuff and all the other things like that. I finished that, and then I picked up Resident Evil 2 Remake, and that game is just freaking amazing. I love that game so much already. I'm about 2.5 hours, I think, into the game. So I've basically just blew past the whole part that you play in the demo. Because at that point, for the most part, a lot of that stuff was still kind of the same in the full game as it was in the demo, but there was a couple of changes, a couple of things that they did to make it take a little bit longer than it did in the demo to finish everything. But but yeah, so it was kind of nice though, knowing a lot of that stuff and just being able to blow through it. So I got a good chunk of that done, and really enjoying it. That's definitely something I'm going to go back to next chance I get. Probably tomorrow I'll be playing a lot of that. So, and then I played some Call of Duty, like get my daily little bit of it in. I haven't been playing it nearly as much though lately. I've been just trying to play more stuff. I love that game, but it's just like I've been wanting to try to get some other gaming stuff in. And yeah, so like that's pretty much what I've been playing for the most part.
All right. For me, been playing Seasons After Fall. I believe I'm halfway through that game. I got all the seasons, but now I'm just doing like, I guess the second half of the game, like some of the areas and trying to revive the forest or something. So I'm doing that. I'm also picked up Resident Evil 2 remake. I know that I think the half of the intro is all different because I know you don't never go to the gas station. They skip the part that you don't go to the gun shop. Like they took that out. You literally just head pretty much to the police station.
In the demo you do, but in the full game you play that whole beginning part.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because that whole beginning part you never played in the original Resident Evil 2. So I'm enjoying it. I think I killed one zombie, and that was at the beginning. And then everything else I just ran. I'm running through. So I just got to the police station. I kind of stopped there just to get a feel of it. It feels pretty good. It feels really nice. I'm liking the way that how dark it is and how creepy it can be. There is a little jump scares here and there, but it's just like I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, this was empty, but now it's like 800 zombies just appeared out of nowhere and nobody was there. Just like, wait, that doesn't make sense. But okay, it's Resident Evil. Got to take it for what it is. So played that. Play some more Far Cry 5, getting more to the story, like getting further into that. And then I'll be jumping into some side missions for there. Did I pick up something? I don't think I picked up anything for Xbox. I think Resident Evil 2 is the only one that I picked up. And then I'll be picking up Kingdom Hearts next Tuesday. By the time you guys see this, I'll have Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm going to try to finish Resident Evil by Monday. So you guys will be able to check if you haven't seen it, but my review for Resident Evil 2 remake is up, so you guys should be able to check that on ngrradio.com. And I'll give my impressions and thoughts about that game. But in Destiny, I played with Corey. We're playing the first one. And
it was forgot about that.
And it was a very good discussion that we had about that game. And I can't wait to get a little bit more into it, doing some strikes and raids, because all the strikes and raids in Destiny 1 and even with Destiny 2 is all going to be new for me because I've never done them. So that first one we did, Corey, like I said, I did that one before.
Yeah,
but
it's part of the campaign too.
Okay.
They tried to, like what they did with the Taken King update, and then they kind of streamlined it with Rise of Iron. They kind of put some of the strikes that you need to, like, just to get you acclimated with them. They try to force it into the story. So, I mean, whatever. I mean, like, that strike is fine and all, but there's some really cool ones later down the road where, like, especially in the Taken King, when you go do, like, the Shield Brothers or,
is the Shield Brothers like they're like light green kind of glowy things, and one of them comes out.
Wait, what?
I was doing something for the Taken King.
They're two giant Cabal. One is green and one is red.
Okay, I didn't do that one.
And they, like, you fight one's super aggressive and one's super passive, and like you fight the really aggressive one first, then he goes back in, then the super passive one comes out where like he just puts up this shield and shoots rockets out of his back, but he just kind of stands there until you get close to him and then he jumps away. So there's like this really fine line of kind of staying inside his shield and not having him jump away. And then when he goes in, and then you have to fight both of them together. But when you defeat one, the other automatically gets the one you killed's power. So like you could get like the really aggressive one that shoots rockets, and it's just really scary. It's a good time. Although I don't know if they patched this or not, but when Destiny 1 was really popular, if you just knelt in front of one of them with a shotgun, like they couldn't hit you because they're so big. So
wow,
there was like a super cheat for that for a while, but they actually give you some really cool stuff if you do the strike enough.
Okay. So Jesse, when you speaking of cheating, talking about the Division 1, so there is like a platform that you could go under in it. And so I hit under the platform, popped out, was shooting the helicopter, popped back in because it couldn't. Once it shot at me, the platform was blocking the shot, so I never got hit. So I was just popping in and out, killing that thing, and I was just like, that's the game.
That's basically what I mean. After I set all the turrets to aim at them, then that's basically what I did too. Is because I mean, like especially there's a whole bunch of guys running around at one point too, like trying to kill you while it's also shooting at you. So yeah, like that's basically what you have to do, I think, in that, just because it's like that machine guns and the rockets on that helicopter are like basically kill you in one shot.
Right. So everybody, that's what we have been playing. That's what's been in our arsenal. When we come back, we're going to get into some Arsenal news. Hopefully you guys have been doing well with your NX challenge. Right now, Jesse is in the lead, I believe, with 5 points. I'm with 2. Corey is working on his NX challenge. I so cannot wait for you to get to Link to the Past. I just can't wait.
I'm working on it. I have a schedule for next week for how I want to handle stuff. I've been trying to get a lot of stuff done before I start it, because like I want to, because like in terms of like consistency on content, Arsenal X is like the most consistent thing we have right now. Because with Power Block, I'm trying to get like quick looks done, and then I'm trying to make all these like tiny intros for our breakouts, because we're breaking out the podcast topics now, and I just want everything done before I start anything new. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
And so like Sunday's my big editing day, right? Where like Sana and I just kind of chill and watch TV or whatever and play with the baby, and everything is going to be edited and processed on Sundays. And so, we're breaking out all like the news stories and topics we do for this show, for Pow Block, and then for, pretty much everything. Every show is going to have breakouts, right? Like I have to go after this. I have to break out Nerds Gone Rogue proper for next week. And, and it's the way we do it for that show as opposed to this show. Like, I guess behind the scenes stuff. Like, what we do is we cut recording before each topic starts, and then we start a new video recording. So each topic is a separate video file, which makes it super easy. But for Nerds Gone Rogue, since we use Google Hangouts for some ungodly reason, it
takes a longer process.
Yeah, because like you can't stop the video, right? You just have to keep recording until you're done. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just
Well, everybody, when we come back, we're going to get into Arsenal news, and we will be right back. And welcome back, everybody. So we're gonna jump into some Arsenal news. Fortnite removes blind loot boxes from Save the World mode, and all our news is coming for Game Informer, so you guys can check it out. Loot boxes have been a controversial topic over the last few years. They've always been a controversial topic, really, but in the face of games like Battlefront 2 and even Overwatch, the discussion around them has really heated up, with the video game industry insisting there's nothing wrong with them. National governments are getting involved in the discussion, though, which is putting pressure on individual developers to start turning them to be more consumer friendly. Perhaps as a consequence of that, Epic announced today that they will be replacing the previously purchasable loot boxes in Fortnite Save the World mode with loot boxes that allow you to see their contents before you buy.
X-ray llamas.
Yes, dubbed X-ray llamas, the llamas boxes show you exactly what you're going to get before you buy them. Epic explained in a blog post today, or by the time you guys read this. If you don't see anything you like, the store will refresh the next day and the loot box with it. The prices aren't changing and the boxes can still be earned through gameplay, but they'll be similarly transparent in those. In addition, the loot boxes will bias toward preventing dupes in the same category class. That means if you already have a legendary shotgun, the box algorithm will not give you that same legendary shotgun instead, but you will instead get a different legendary shotgun should a duplicate item come up. The new changes go live with update 7.30, so you won't have to take long to give it a spin. Any thoughts about this, guys?
It's just a good idea. Like I think everyone's just kind of over the random loot box thing, because like they changed that in Black Ops 2 with a while back with the beginning of the second season. They had already changed that as well in their game. Because it used to be that like your tier thing as you unlock, through gameplay, you just would get something random in each box. But instead what they did is the first 100, you know exactly what you're going to get in them. And then after 100, then it's random. So so people are knowing what they're getting for at least 100 of them, and then after that it doesn't matter, because like then at that point you've unlocked all the important things like the new guns and the new whatever. So
Corey, any thoughts?
No, I just think this is a good idea, and I think a lot of people should look at this, especially like because Assassin's Creed does this too, where like there's no loot boxes, but you can buy cosmetic stuff from their store and everything. So it's a good move. I think it's smart. It gets, whatever inevitable government controversy is going to happen with loot boxes, right? They don't want an EA situation on their hands. So like getting ahead of it is a smart idea. And ultimately, I think, as long as they have creative ideas in terms of cosmetic options, like I think they're going to make more money this way, just because like they can charge whatever they want for cosmetics, and if you can see them, you're more likely to buy it, right? So I just think it's a smart move all around from a business standpoint and a goodwill standpoint. So
well, it's good. That's all I got to say about it. I stopped playing Fortnite. I took it off my system because I don't play it. I think Blackout has ruined that feeling of wanting to play Fortnite, because Blackout was so good.
Yeah, well, Jesse and I were talking about that with PUBG the other day, or a couple weeks ago when we were playing for Royale with Cheese, and we were just like, Blackout has ruined PUBG for us, and it's like we still like PUBG, but like Blackout is just so good. That engine fits it, and it's just like you get lost in that game and just end up having fun.
Yeah, I think that's what the thing is like yes, like to a certain extent, Fortnite is easily accessible for all ages, but you've still got to master something in order to have a chance to really enjoy that game as well as, to its full potential, and that's building. And if you're like me, I just don't want to learn how to build better. It just doesn't interest me. So that but with Black Ops, all you need to know is how to shoot and what things do. That's it. You don't have to be skilled in building, or you don't have to, it's just easier accessible, in my opinion, than any of the other games.
There's just something exciting about it. It has, for me personally, it has a Titanfall 2 kind of vibe to it. That it's just like, even though I lost and I died, I don't care about my ranking. I want to jump in another match because I'm enjoying what it offers. So Ubisoft worked with Glad on upcoming changes to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There is an original article, and then there are 2 updates to the story. Earlier this month, Assassin's Creed Odyssey's second premium DLC release, Shadow Heritage, prompted Game Informer senior reviews editor Joe Juba to recommend players steer clear from the entire arc. While one of the points is that it doesn't add cool or meaningful content, another major reason is an odd turn the story takes. This sentiment was shared by enough in the community to prompt Ubisoft to apologize. Now the developer has announced it's working on a revision to Shadow Heritage. According to the post on the Ubisoft forums, the developers are making changes to a cutscene and some dialogue in Shadow Heritage to better reflect the nature of the relationship for players, selecting a non-romantic storyline. The changes will also include altering the name of one trophy. Ubisoft says the changes are being made now and will be implemented in a future patch. The team is also looking at how the choices made in Shadow Heritage can affect the next DLC release, Bloodline, to ensure narrative consistency. This is the first update. Game Informer spoke briefly with an Ubisoft representative about the tweaks being made. The changes don't take place during the final story beat of the Shadow Heritage DLC, and as such, they have updated the headline to more accurately reflect the nature of this upcoming patch, which that's for Game Informer. And this is update number 2. LGBTQ advocacy group GLAD released a blog post stating they work with Ubisoft on the upcoming changes to Assassin's Creed Odyssey's Shadow Heritage DLC. After praising the main game's approach of allowing players to define their character's sexuality however they please, Glad criticized the unavoidable heterosexual relationship that occurs in the DLC story, saying, at worst, this sends the harmful message that sexual orientation can be changed at will and that LGBTQ people can choose to conform to heteronormative expectations in spite of their identities. In response to the news, Glad said the following: Ubisoft had publicly apologized for the acknowledged mistake, and since last week, Glad has been in direct contact with Ubisoft in an effort to work together to improve aspects of this DLC and future content releases. The forthcoming updates to Shadow Heritage announced by Ubisoft just yesterday are a positive step, and we applaud them for working to mitigate the damage. An Ubisoft representative confirmed that the developer has spoken with Glad on the topic of the DLC and its changes. So, any thoughts, guys?
I mean, I have a few, but I mean, this is gonna come off sounding against this, but it's not. I promise you, it's not. So just take it with a grain of salt. I think they're to. Maybe like you said, like my thoughts kind of were before I found out that Ubisoft was like changing it so that whatever this decision is in this storyline, you can make a non-romantic decision about this, and it's kind of strictly like a business type proposition or whatever it is. But like I'm glad that they're doing this, right? I'm glad they're supporting like that the community and everything. I just think in terms of what Assassin's Creed is and what that story is, like it's called Bloodlines and Legacy of the First Blade, like to pass on your genetic code, like it has to be between a genetically born man and a genetically born woman, right? Like that's scientifically how babies are made. Now, in today's world, you know, the gay and lesbian community in that there's many ways that you can have a child without because of modern science and medicine and just that kind of thing. Like there's ways to do that where you don't have to have just a man and a woman, right? But in ancient Greece, that wasn't that kind of knowledge and stuff wasn't available, right? And so to tell the story of Assassin's Creed in ancient Greece, that is the only way you could pass on your bloodline, right? Is for a man and a woman to conceive. And I'm not against them changing it. I'm not at all. Like I think it's a good thing. I think it's a cool thing that they're doing that. I just think that they were trying to get to a point in their story where like we have to pass on the genetics of Cassandra or Alexios, and that was the logical step to take, was like we have to have some sort of relationship between the male character and the female character. It sounds like they're saying like we're changing dialogue options so that you can take a non-romantic path down this storyline, right?
Yes.
Which is good. And like my initial thoughts were kind of like, before I knew that part of it, I was like, this is kind of, I feel like they're reading a little bit too much into this because of how this has to happen for the story to progress, right?
Yes.
But like the fact that they're doing that, like, again, I'm not mad that they're doing that. I think it's a good thing that it's a good thing overall, right? I just feel like they're being kind of punished for something that, like, maybe, I don't know. I just feel like they should just take into consideration what it means to pass on your bloodlines for a minute, instead of like what communities you're trying to serve, because they're trying to tell a specific story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you're trying to move modern times into something, even though the game is unrealistic in the first place, trying to move modern times into something that was in the past that doesn't fit, and like something in that era that doesn't fit. And it's kind of hard to do that. Even though you do want to please people and stuff, sometimes you just can't have things if you want that consistency, because it wouldn't make sense in the setting and the era that is taking place.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I don't want to sound like I'm like being disrespectful to the community, because I'm not, right? Like I really respect them and I support them, and I think everybody should treat everybody equally, despite of your race, gender, sex, what you identify as, right? Like everybody should be treated as a human being, right? And
yes,
in the landscape we live in, it seems to be like it's getting harder every day to do that, but that's how I feel you should treat people. But in the context of the game and the story they're trying to tell in this specific DLC, like there has to be a relationship between a man and a woman, because it takes place in ancient Greece. And whether it's a romantic one or strictly business, like, yes, that choice should be able to be made. But in order to pass on the genetic bloodline, there has to be that type of relationship. So, like, I don't really know yet, because I have not even remotely begun to do that part in that game.
I haven't even bought the game yet.
So I don't really have a foot to stand on in this conversation, but like, it sounds like that's what they're changing it to, and that's good. Instead of just, it has to be a romantic one. Like, they're giving you the choice, but like, I don't know. I feel like they kind of got thrown under the bus for something that, like, scientifically needs to happen in the storyline for the bloodline to move on. You know, and you know, again, I know this is a conversation that may upset some people, but like in terms of the story they're trying to tell, this is what needs to happen.
Yes.
So.
Jesse, go ahead, because I have thoughts too about this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add. You know, I'm kind of with Corey. Like, I guess the thing I don't know is so you can have a relationship, a man and a man relationship, but they just don't let it be any more than business, is what you said.
In the game, like, you can choose to be gay, straight, or bisexual in the choice that you make. You can have pretty much a relationship with a lot of the NPCs in the game as either Alexios or Cassandra. It doesn't matter if they're male or female. You can have some sort of relationship with them. And a lot of people applauded that because, like, that doesn't really exist a lot in games. Like, I think Mass Effect and Dragon Age are two really big games that have done that in the past. You know, but you know, Assassin's Creed is a big step for them because they're kind of making this more of a focus for them, and so they got really praised for that, and I praise them for that too. I think that's a cool thing. Yeah,
and that's all I wanted to know, because I was like, I was pretty sure that that was kind of something that they had done. I remembered hearing about it. And so, like, basically all I'm going to say is if they really were trying to insult people of, you know, in that community, they wouldn't have even made that an option at all in the first place. Like, they obviously, like, their decision came from a story, you know, a story position and to, you know, kind of make it go to where the story needed to go. You know, because otherwise they wouldn't have acknowledged it at all. For them, the fact that they acknowledge and they want to give people the option to decide what sexuality their character is to be, you know, to be accepting of it. And you know, like, I don't quite understand, like, why, you know, it's not malice that they're doing it. There's no, you know, intention of harm, you know, when they were making those decisions, obviously, because, like I said, they never would have even made that an option if they really didn't like the idea of it.
Yeah, and there's over 800 people credited on this game. Like, if it bothered people in that community on the staff, like, you would have thought, like, maybe one of them would have said, hey, why don't we do it this way? That way, like, we all feel included. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the internet blows a lot of things out of proportion that don't really need it, and I feel like this is one of those times. But at the same time, I'm glad they're going back and fixing that option in the DLC, and just to be like, hey, we have a solution to the issue that seems to be at hand, and you know, we're changing it to better our game and our message. So that's kind of all I really have to say on it again. So
for me, I just like you said, Corey, that I feel like they blew this way out of proportion. You know, first of all, this is DLC, and you don't have to buy this DLC and play an experience. If you get Odyssey is a big game. It's already long, so you already made your choice and your decisions about that. I think the community who got upset about this, who feel hurt about it, I'm just like, you're trying to take something that is in a fantasy and bring something realistic to the modern world, like I said earlier, to this game, and you can't do it. All the stuff that you do in in the Assassin's Creed game you can't do in real life. So try to bring where a same-sex relationship ends up having being turned to something heterosexual to bring a child in and then being offended about that. I'm just like, well, you have to do that because that is why it's called bloodline. There weren't surrogate mothers in that day, and I think that's a lot of people who try to bring realistic stuff in games, and people get upset about it or people feel offended, and they think that sometimes when you bring certain realistic stuff into a fictional game, it solves the problem. Guess what? There's tons of Assassin's Creed games that don't even talk about sexuality. Ubisoft decided
this is really the first one, right?
Yeah, this is the first one. Like, your main mission in Assassin's Creed was assassinate people and progress the story.
Yeah.
If you've been killing everybody and all of this stuff, being attracted to another person doesn't make sense. Where with Mass Effect and even Dragon Age, BioWare has started the game off where you make choices, moral choices, dialogue choices, and so it's fitting that they put something romantic into that game. Whether you change the same sex or heterosexual, you've been making choices throughout the whole game till you got to that little part of your relationship. So I agree with you, Corey and Jesse. I just think that this was blown out. I feel like it really didn't. It shouldn't have damaged the gay community, because if it did, who was talking about it? Because by the time this DLC came out, people were talking about Smash, people were talking about the Game Awards, Red Dead, talking about all this other stuff. And this little incident, no one in the gay community that I know of have been talking about it on social media or talking about Facebook, different, like, who's been talking about this issue?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and again, like, I think it's a very loud minority on the internet, right? Like, you know how the internet likes to get up in arms about everything. And I'm sure a logical, gay or lesbian or bisexual person would understand this completely in a logical sense, right? Like,
yes,
like in terms of like historically and scientifically and everything, like this is how this needs to happen. And again, I'm not saying this to try to offend anybody. I don't want to offend anybody. I have gay and lesbian friends. I know, yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, we're looking at one right now. So, I mean, like, I don't want to say it to offend anybody. I'm just trying to put a logical reason out there for people to, like, try to understand, like, this was probably Ubisoft's logic too. It was like, this is how it has to happen scientifically, and because it's ancient Greece, there's no science to give a gay or lesbian couple a natural baby. Like, this is how it has to happen. So we might as well just write it in. And, like, yeah, maybe they could have done this choice the first time of, like, this is a professional relationship to where we pass on the bloodline, but, like, who thinks like that? Well, like, well, I don't know.
Corey,
it's just the thing.
The thing about it is, everybody's gonna forget all about this by the time.
In like a week, everybody's gonna be moving on to something else. I'm sure EA will screw something else up. They'll cancel another Star Wars game, or I mean, I'm sure by the time this episode comes out, people will already have forgotten about it. But still,
or some people will be like, "Oh, this happened? I didn't even know this. Like, I didn't know nothing happened until I read it on Game Informer." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay."
Yeah, I mean, I heard it on a podcast. I heard it on a podcast 4 times last week. I'm like, really? Okay, well, whatever. It's just, yeah. People just get mad about things that,
Well, I think part of it is that, like, some of these people just might not completely, know end game of it, and so they see the first thing, and then without understanding the rest of it, they just get upset and don't care to look any more into it. Like, I mean,
or like articles that say Assassin's Creed force your character into a heterosexual relationship, and that's the only
misleading.
Yeah,
misleading, and the unfortunately that happens everywhere way too much, as people try to get people the trigger words to try to get people to look at their articles.
I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on to the last thing. Go look at on YouTube the sex box from Fox News when they try to do the Mass Effect thing. Go there and just watch that and be like, wow, what a intriguing, very questionable discussion. I would just say that. But we're going to go into our next subject. So it's reported that Resident Evil series is coming to Netflix. We're only with the release of Resident Evil 2, it seems like there might be more Resident Evil news in the pipeline already. And what appears to be a very nascent deal, Deadline reports that Capcom has begun discussing details with Netflix for a Resident Evil series on the streaming service. According to Deadline, the series isn't going to be just a retelling of the story of the video games, but rather an expansion of the universe outside of the usual group of bioweapon killing near superhumans that the series has been focusing on for years. Instead, it will look more at things like the Umbrella Corporation and the creation of its various genetic experiments. It is not clear yet whether the series is animated or live action. While there have been successful animated adaptations of video games on Netflix, like Konami's Castlevania, the live action Resident Evil movies by Paul W.S. Anderson were fairly large successes, each turning a profit. What form would you want a Resident Evil show to take? And to add to this, everybody, there also are some Resident Evil animated CGI movies that you guys, if you care to watch that, you can. I actually don't think this is needed at all. You can't.
They're already rebooting the movies. Why do they need a TV show too? Which,
exactly.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm sure the Netflix show will be better than anything that the movies have ever been, right? But let's be honest here. It comes down to, like, why do we need video game adaptations into movies or TV? You know, like, just why do we need it? Video games should be games, movies should be movies, right? You can find there's so many things that you could find to play or watch that are different enough. You know, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't even really care. I don't really care for Resident Evil. I think the story of Resident Evil is really interesting. I just don't want to play the games, right? Because I don't do spooky stuff. Except for Resident Evil 1. I'll play Resident Evil 1 all day for some reason, but I just don't. And I really like 5, by the way. But 5 is not a horror movie or horror game. So
I think it's about expanding the brand. So that's why, because I'm like, we would go crazy if there was a Shovel Knight cartoon coming to Netflix. We would watch it.
To be honest with you, that'd be awesome.
You know, like I still want to fight for that Star Fox animated short to be a TV series. Like,
also probably would be really awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's all about what you enjoy. Like, if it's something you enjoy, like, because this is my take on it. Okay, so. To me, saying to everyone who likes a thing that, like, why do we need movies based on games? Well, why do we need games based on movies then?
We don't.
Like, why don't we don't? Well, but not necessarily. Like, we've had some good Star Wars games, like the Unleashed and all that stuff have been amazing games.
They're not based on movies, though. They're based on
but they're based on Star Wars, and that's what these movies are going to be. They're going to be based off the license, story of it, but it's not going to be the game being played out in a show.
That's why I say expanding the brand.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And don't forget Star Wars, even though that has, you know, is set a series of movies and stuff, the video games and the books and stuff that come out of it has been trying to expand the world. Don't forget, there's a fighting game on PS1 from Star Wars.
Yeah.
But we all love probably the Rogue One that came on GameCube. We love the racer one, Knights of the Old Republic from BioWare. A lot of people like that. It's just there's things about, I'm just using Star Wars for example, that that expanded, and with games being turned into movies or an adaptation or something coming out of it, TV series or a movie, they're trying to expand it to their fan base and tell maybe a different story or bring their imagination of that game of how it will look to the TV screen. People will pay money for it because they're a fan of it. You know, we might think Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, the movies are whatever you deem them to be, but during that time, those games were hype and people were going out to go see them. You know, people still go see the Pokemon movie, and you know that of course that's animated, but people still go support it and see that because they're fans of it. So I think it's just expanding the brand. I think with Resident Evil, in the sense why it doesn't need a TV series, is that we know the story of Resident Evil. We know the side games. We seen all the movies. We seen the animated stuff. What can you expand from the Resident Evil series? You're a player who's fighting a corporation who somehow got a virus out or a disease out, whatever you want to call it. You're fighting those enemies so that you can survive and you save the day. What else is there to tell about? We know Umbrella is evil. We don't need to know anything about that. We've been knowing Umbrella has been evil for the last, 6 games? 7 games? Or whatever. So we as gamers know it. Now, if they are trying to get this out, then people who know nothing about the Resident Evil will enjoy the series. But
I would like to get an origin where it's not just a bunch of cutscenes in a game, just just basically devolving a whole entire origin into 3 seconds. I would like to get the Gotham of Resident Evil. Like in my opinion, Gotham is a perfect example of the very early stages of Batman, before Batman exists, before any of the villains exist. To get to tell a deeper story about how Umbrella even started as a corporation, right. Why
if they're gonna start, and they should just keep it an umbrella, because if they're not gonna try to do anything with the games, nothing should get to the point where Resident Evil 0 comes into play. You have literally got to do all of this stuff and then hint at how Resident Evil 0 started, and don't even go to 1 or anything else, because that's the only way. I think
that's what they would probably want to do, is to expand on it, on the universe.
Yes. Well, we're gonna move on to the. So, GDC survey reveals 18% of developers working on next-gen games. Each year, the Game Developers Conference serves as one of the biggest meetings of the minds for creators in the video game industry. While we're still about 2 months off, the conference shared its 7th annual State of the Game Industry survey results. The survey polled nearly 4,000 video game developers on a variety of topics, including work hours, Steam, and projects they are working on. One of the most interesting tidbits is that 18% of the 4,000 developers surveyed are working on games for unannounced platforms. However, only 2% of respondents say that project is exclusive to next-gen games. The other 16% say their projects are cross-generational. On that same question, 46% say they are developing exclusively for existing hardware. In addition, one of the topics touched on was how the developers surveyed were planning on monetizing their next completed game. 50% sorry about that, Ray. 50% responded that it would be traditional pay to download, while 41% said free to download. However, only 9% of total respondents said their games will include paid loot boxes, while 22% and 24% said they will support the game through paid in-game currency and paid in-game items, respectively. Steam remains the most popular PC slash Mac platform for developers to sell their games on, with 47 of developers using the Valve on storefront, but only 6% of developers feel Steam earned its 30% cut of the game revenue. For contrast, only 32% feel Steam does not earn its cut, while 27% say it probably doesn't. While this could indicate further problems for Valve's storefront, 55% of developers say that 75% or more of their sales come from Steam, which is significantly more than any other digital storefront at this time. On the topic of work hours, 44% spend more than 40 hours a week working on games. The most popular reason for this, however, isn't management pressure. That's 10%, or peer pressure, which is another 10%. Instead, the most common reason for overtime among respondents is self-pressure, 33%. On the topic of maintaining favorable work conditions, 47% say they think workers in the industry should unionize, but only 21% are optimistic about that happening. In response to which gender developers survey identified as, 77% said male, while only 19% said female. This is a slight increase from last year's survey when that same question yielded an 80-17 split. Other interesting results include 24% saying their multi-platform games have sold best on Switch, and that 45% of developers consider Switch a platform that most interests them, compared to 38% for PS4, 28% for Xbox One, and 60% for PC. This year's Game Developers Conference runs from March 18th to March 22nd in San Francisco, California. So that is a lot of survey, a lot of numbers and stuff. But to only hear that 18% is working on next gen, I think right now the only one that we could really say is Microsoft and Bethesda is the only ones that's working on next gen. Where everybody else we don't know yet until maybe
I'm sure
E3.
Some Sony studios are too.
Yeah, Sony is probably too.
But to be honest with you, that doesn't really surprise me considering the amount of mobile developers that go there. You know, and PC only also is like a big thing because it costs a lot of money to port your game over to a console, right? Like PC's free pretty much, you know. Well, I mean, besides development costs, like it's free to put your game on Steam, and then whatever it sells, it's like 30% or whatever, and you know it's the same for mobile. So, I mean, I don't. It's not that surprising to me, especially with the amount of current gen games still in development. Like,
Yes.
you know, and you know, a lot of people probably don't want to give out their secrets either. Of like, hey, we have dev kits for Xbox Scarlet and PlayStation 5. You know, just because I'm sure if somebody leaked something like that, like they'd be in big trouble from Sony and Microsoft. So,
Even Nintendo probably.
yeah. Well, Nintendo doesn't really have a next gen console. You know,
But
Switch is like its own little bubble thing.
yeah, but if there is someone who's working on a Nintendo game and it got leaked,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know,
that's true too.
so I think with the Steam one, it's interesting that it's still the biggest one. I was just like, well, Epic just came out with this,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you really don't have a lot of games on the Epic Store. I think give it this year, just this year alone, that will really change, and we'll see how Epic Store affects
Especially
Steam.
when they're getting free games. Like, look at the free games you got already this year from the Epic Store. Super Meat Boy, Axiom Verge is free this month. I mean, early access for Hades. The Division is exclusive on PC for that store. Like, tell you what, man, the Epic Store is going to be something to be, you know,
Looking out to.
yeah.
Well,
the thing is too is like, I mean, good old games exist still too, right? But that's more of like, I mean, I know they sell regular games. By the way, did you know that Good Old Games is run by CD Projekt?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they have like CD Projekt has two teams: CD Projekt Red, which develops their games, and CD Projekt Blue, which runs Good Old Games.
But see, I thought Good Old Games was its own.
It is its own thing, but it's owned by CD Projekt.
I did never know that.
I didn't either until like a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's run by CD Projekt Blue, which is their kind of curation and porting team. So,
all right, CD Projekt, get y'all.
I was like,
points.
how do they have all this money to build, like, make games like The Witcher? Like, they're not like up until The Witcher 3. Like, The Witcher was not popular. You know,
Yes.
I mean, The Witcher 2 gained an audience, but like until The Witcher 3, like those games were not popular. Like, how do they have all this money? Turns out, Good Old Games is their. That's how they're funding The Witcher, I guess. So,
Witcher was popular for PC. It's just that we never talk about it.
I agree, and it's popular in parts of Europe because it's a Polish developer, and that story is or those books and stuff are popular overseas and stuff. But it just kind of like blew my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess cool. So.
Yeah.
Fun fact for you guys this week.
Yes. Thank you for educating us, Corey. So anything else, guys, or?
No, I'm excited for next gen. That's all. I'm excited for the next Xbox. I want to see what it's like. Although I need to mount my 4K TV above my desk, so that's gonna be fun.
Oh,
it's gonna be a fun little project.
Yes.
I gotta find a stud behind this wall because if I don't and I hang that TV and it falls, boy,
I'd go stand behind his wall. That's good.
No.
Ed, hold up my TV for the rest of the time.
No.
No, he's the stud behind the wall.
Got it. Nice.
I feel honored, I guess. So we're gonna get into our next story. So our final story, Sea of Thieves developer wowed by streaming numbers. In his latest developer diary, Sea of Thieves executive producer Joe Neate acknowledged the game's growing following on platforms like Twitch. It's been amazing to see the continued momentum and interest around Sea of Thieves since the Shrouded Spoils release, Neate said. Throughout December, we've seen loads of streaming, just loads of people coming in and playing Sea of Thieves. To see that continue through January, to see new streamers, has been incredible. It's a true reversal in perception for when the game launched to middling reviews last year. Game Informer described the game as shallow with good ideas but not enough content. We're since proven its commitment to filling its swashbuckling pirate sandbox with 4 free sizable expansion packs, including December's Shrouded Spoils. And if Twitch is any indication of public perception, it usually is. Their efforts are paying off. Kotaku reported that Sea of Thieves set at number 2 on Twitch Monday night with 102,000 viewers. It since slipped back down to 17,600 viewers at the time of this writing, but it's clear that interest in the game is gaining the momentum Neate described in the video. The next patch coming to Sea of Thieves will launch on February 6th and will primarily focus on tweaking the game's combat mechanics. So that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it not that long ago, and I really enjoyed the some of the changes they've made but these new changes are fairly recent, I think, aren't they? Like, yeah. So I really want to get back into that game because I do love playing in that world. It's fun.
Yeah, same here. I need to show some commitment more to that game. Plus, I got my beer mug. On my pirate. Yeah. R. So, Corey, any thoughts, or are you guys ready to move on to our last section?
I'm really happy they're just continuing to support this game as well. It's a game I want to get back to at some point. We haven't had time, and now that Anthem and The Division are out, or coming out, I should say, I hope we somehow have time to come back to this game at some point.
Yes.
That's all I say.
So everybody, when we come back, we're going to get into our Arsenal exchange. And we're back, everybody. So let's jump into our Arsenal exchange. So I asked these guys, games as a service demos. We talk about Anthem and the problems that it is having. And we kind of was discussing just sometimes about when a game is demoing from like when a game that depends on the online service in a sense, that when these demos come out, we don't know if it's going to work or if it's going to have problems. And if you guys seen yesterday's pop block, we kind of talked about breaking demos down on how it's done. So I kind of want to ask the guys, like, how do a games as a service demo should be handled? Do you think what Bethesda did, or even Nintendo in a sense, how they released it, but there's a time window for it? Do you think that what Bungie did with Destiny 2, like they gave you the first main mission, so you got an understanding of how a solo mission works, and then you could do strikes or raids, like get an idea about that? Or do you guys like what not Bethesda, of how Anthem is being handled, where it's kind of, or even I think what's Call of Duty Black Ops the same thing as Anthem, Jesse, or is it separate?
What now? Like
like with the closed beta first, and then or closed alpha. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A closed alpha, and then an open beta, and then the like release of the game and stuff. I think that's kind of how they're doing it with Anthem. It was a closed alpha for, I think, then it's the VIP, and then I think the last one is the open beta, or open up to everyone. How did you guys think that these services or game as a service demos should be handled?
I think, I think most people do a good job of doing it the way like they kind of do it. But the thing is that it's really hard for online based games to know exactly how everything's gonna go once real time things start happening. Because they said, like, with the Anthem, like all these problems they've been having with the Anthem demo, that none of it really had to do with servers. It was real time things happening where like when you play an open world game, there's always going to be bugs, and someone could play that same exact game in the same exact way that you do.
Yes.
But that bug, just for whatever reason, won't affect them. And so I think it has something to do with how things are like generated in the game. And so you just can't always predict for every single outcome that could possibly happen when you have a game that has left you completely to your choices of what you're going to do. Like, if you're the second you walk into an area, you're going to run 4 steps straight, and then you're going to turn right, and then, go left. And like throughout that way of you moving through the game, there's a possibility that you could somehow glitch something out just because of the exact way that you moved through that level.
And
that someone could go through that level, and that wouldn't happen to them.
They do say in their statement that this is not a final representation of the game. This is just like a build. Like they do inform that.
And they're rushed. They're rushed to have something put together because they've got a certain time period that all needs to be okayed before they can, even think about releasing a demo. And unfortunately, I think that is part of the issue, is that they're kind of forced to just put out something that isn't working correctly, and then once people complain, then they're allowed to fix it, which is stupid. Like, it's dumb that it has to be that way. But unfortunately, that seems to be the way that it has to be done. They have to okay something, and then that's got to be set in stone up until the release day, and then when problems happen, then they're allowed to change things on it.
I think one of the problems, and I'm gonna get your answer, Corey. I think one of the problems is that when you attach stuff like these demos to pre-orders and stuff, it becomes very worrisome about the people who are pre-ordering. Only reason is because they are getting this bonus, but it's not a guarantee that it's going to be a hit or not. And this is stuff like this. It feels like if you're paying for something like this, or this is included in it, it is connected to your money. This could fear some people to be like, I'm going to cancel my pre-order. That's why when I put in the message and it said physical cancellation stuff, people could be like, if this is what I'm getting, because some people just take a demo as it is, like this is a representation of the game, they'll be like, if this is going to be on my day one, I'm going to cancel my game till they get it right. What about you, Corey?
I mean, I don't know, man. I games as a service is so hard to demo, right? Like I think Anthem is actually doing it pretty well if you can get in. Like it gives you a sense of, here's Fort Tarsus, here's how you level up, here's the javelins, you can test them all out. You can go do these few missions in the stronghold and free play. Like they have all that stuff set in there. Like that's cool. I think that really gives you a shot at learning how to play the game. Whereas like I hated Destiny 2's beta, right? Like I didn't hate it in terms of the way it felt or the way it played, right? Like I think Destiny 2 still is like a premier first-person shooter on consoles. Like I still think it's one of the best first-person shooters out there. But it doesn't teach you anything. It didn't really teach you anything. It gave you that first mission, right, without any cutscenes or anything. Like it gave you that first mission and it gave you a strike. It didn't really teach you how to upgrade or like what gear was or anything like that, right? And it just did a terrible job of teaching you how to play Destiny. And so like I don't know, I thought that was pretty awful, but I thought the Blackout beta did a good job of like this is what Blackout is. You can play it. And the division, if I remember correctly, did a pretty similar thing of what Anthem is doing. Is like it gave you a small chunk of the game up front.
Yeah.
And like I think that's pretty smart because it teaches you how to play the game, not just mechanically, but also like what upgrades are, what how the mechanics work and how upgrading your stuff works. And so like I think that's a good way to do it. But to Jesse's point is like, you shouldn't have to wait to fix things, like the demos and the betas. Like I really hope all this Anthem mess is cleaned up by the time this game comes out, and not, hey, because Jesse, you took the day off to play it. Like you're not going to, what if you take the day off and like this happens on day one, right? And you wasted a day where you could have been like, making money, working, or spending time with your family, or doing something else. But like, Anthem is important to you, and you want to take the day off and play it, like I did with Destiny 2 when it came out. I took that day off to play it, and the servers were down for a little bit, but like nothing compared to what this Anthem stuff is happening this past weekend. Like people were waiting 8, 10, 12 hours on Xbox just to get in, right? And like they fixed the PC and PlayStation 4 ones pretty early, but the Xbox version is still like broken. and it worries me because like they have the marketing deal with Microsoft.
Right, so and you know with EA assets and everything, like they put out when I was telling when me and you was playing Destiny, Corey, and I even mentioned you Jesse. I'm just like, oh, the demo download is available for Xbox. Like no one was talking about it for PlayStation. And my thing is with these kind of demos, I think first of all the intention is to get the feel of the game. Like the shooting, how some, like you said, Corey, is teaching you the mechanics and stuff, how things work. It's just an idea of what you're going to get and what you could be expecting. Kind of to be like, okay, this is how the gameplay works. This is how missions are run. This is how a team co-op, you know, comes together. Like that's what most demos are supposed to do. I think with this Anthem, and sometimes the games as a service demos and stuff, I kind of feel like Destiny 2, what it did right was the single player part. You know, it gave you the demo, but the main focus was getting a feel of the game. It didn't teach you everything, because it was expecting anyone who's a fan of Destiny 1 knows how to play Destiny 2. But they should explain some of the changes and stuff. I think when
Destiny 2 came out, like I do think it did teach you. It did a decent job of teaching you. Not the beta, but the actual game when it came out. It did a decent job of teaching you, like, this is how guns work. This is what a kinetic energy and a power weapon are, right? And this is how you change out armor. This is how you dismantle it, and this is what it turns into. These are patrols. Like, there's a specific point in the campaign where you literally have to go set up a patrol beacon and learn what patrols are, right? And that's a cool thing that they did, right? Like, that was something that was severely lacking in Destiny 1. So, like, that kind of is cool. But, I mean, if you're going to put out a beta to teach people what the game is, like, have something in there that teaches people what the game is.
I think when this demo came out, they should have just literally just give you a first mission, not start you in the town, not start you with co-op players. Like, unlock that after you get a feel of an actual mission just given to you, like they did Destiny 2. Like the first mission was given to you before you did anything else to it, because I think that at least that doesn't depend heavily on the servers, where I feel like for some unknown reason it's trying to match make you for some reason, even though you didn't set it or ask for that. You just really want to jump in and play maybe just one mission single player by itself, because that's my assumption of their having a service reliance on a matchmaking thing. It's my thing, because this is going to be not fearful for me, but this is worrisome about EA and demos, because if you're going to be having these server issues, people who pick up Anthem don't want to have Battlefield 5's problem, where half of the game when it came out, the actual game coming out wasn't there and wasn't working. And now you gotta wait all, like you said, Jesse, fixing it when it's time to come out and stuff. Like, nobody don't want to be paying $60 for that, you know.
Well, I was just mostly talking about the demos and betas, because they have a certain time period that those things need to be okayed, and then after that they can't do anything with it until the release day, like to fix issues, which I think is kind of a dumb practice. And like, I feel like that maybe this stuff wouldn't happen nearly as much if they could maybe extend alphas or you know, the betas, like, you know, do along the lines of the, you know, like we've got games now where they're in the early stages where you get to, you know, play them when as they're being built, and you know, and in the you know, preview programs and things like that. And I think maybe that eventually the whole demo and beta thing might go away, and they'll eventually hopefully maybe they'll just start doing where people can kind of play it as it's being built, and kind of, because I think that would be the best way to do it, because then along the way, like what these problems they're having right now with Anthem, along the way they could have been figuring that stuff out, just to make sure that when it releases for its full 1.0 release, that this won't be an issue, because we've been working on it for months.
Well, my question is, Anthem got announced, 2017, I think, or 16?
I think it might have been
17?
Yeah, because I think they announced it and it was supposed to come out last fall, and then they pushed it.
Because I think,
because
it's kind of, because it's just it's something that, we're all blaming EA for this, and BioWare is also taking the blame, but they're trying to step up and they're trying to explain something.
To be fair, though, this is kind of BioWare's first foray into online gaming too. They haven't. A lot of their stuff is like, I mean, they've had Mass Effect's multiplayer mode, but that's 4 people against hordes of enemies, right? It's not like a massive open world that you can go play with other players or anything, right? Like, this is really their first foray into online gaming, but like EA's server issues have plagued them forever. Look at the Battlefield 4 conundrum. Look at how many times have I complained about Madden in the past like 6 months, right? Like, EA's servers have never been fantastic.
So my thing is, if they're making all this money, why can they not have better servers?
I mean, I think from what it sounds like, they're trying, right? They're working on it, but I don't know. I don't know.
I honestly think, though, like with games like Madden and that, because like Battlefield and those kind of games, like like a lot of online games, they will have some server issues like when it like on release, but it usually gets fixed pretty quickly. But I think more games like Madden, that's more about the on the net code versus the servers. I think that's just, they don't really know what they're doing when it comes to trying to get that game to work in an online setting.
And I wonder, I wonder if they got designated teams to work on the game server.
Well, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can still buy servers too. Like, you can buy servers through EA and have your own server.
Yeah.
Do you? I wonder how much that even costs.
I mean, I think you can rent them.
Yeah, you rent like you pay a monthly fee or something like that.
It's a PC only thing though.
Do you think?
No, you can actually do that. You could do that through the Battlefield games on Xbox. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because there's you can go in when you go in like a Battlefield game, they give you the option to pick servers that you want to connect to search for your matches, instead of it just having to do a quick one. And in there, a lot of the times you'll see like people's own servers where they've set up games the way they want it to be, and it will say like, so and so host will kick you if you do this or do that.
So if you if let's say I bought a server, a server for Anthem, and do I have to invite you and Corey to play on my server?
Yeah.
Or if I'm not at home, but do I just cut the game on?
Well, we could be you can put people as admins that when you're gone. So like if you're not online, then I could be online and I could be hosting the server.
But
your server won't be in use unless I think someone that you've put admin on the server is actually online. I think is how it works, how they do it. So,
because I'm shocked they haven't explored that more, like advertised that more to do server stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't. I
mean,
think
it's
it's
for a
just kind of
very.
something that they've known, but
I think it's just for a very limited subsection of people.
People.
Yeah.
I just don't think enough, casual or even fans of the series care that much. I think it's for a very, very specific subset of people that want to try things out or whatever. So
yeah.
So last part that I just want to ask, and then you guys will let you go to have a great weekend. Um, what do we expect from the next games as a service demo? We're expecting the Division 2 coming out. So I think what they learned from the Division 1, they'll probably do the same thing for this. What do you guys think will happen? Will we get something like Gears 5 as a demo? Like what do you see in the future? Because if this is what EA is going to continue to do with their demos and stuff, I think it may hurt their business in the future. Because they can't have anything like this going on for PS5 and Scarlet.
yeah, but I mean, there's always been online issues for. I mean, not to go back to the last topic or anything. But like, even Blizzard has had like terrible online launches. Look at Diablo 3. Overwatch had like a 6-hour delay. Like, I mean, the most popular games are always going to have server problems, right? Like, even Activision, as much Call of Duty as they put out every year, has still not solved the problem, right? It's just it's just one of those things. But like, if anybody has the manpower and the experience, I think Ubisoft has it because of Rainbow Six Siege and the Division 1 and For Honor, Ghost Recon to an extent. Like, they have the experience, and I think when the Division's private beta comes out, I think it's gonna be bumpy, but I don't think it's gonna be as catastrophic as this past weekend with Anthem. Like Friday, I think you could categorize as like a catastrophic server failure, right? People could not get on all day.
Well, and I think they actually said that wasn't actually even a server issue. It was just the game wasn't, when it got to a certain point of loading, that mechanic, that coding inside of the game that's supposed to tell this part to start now wasn't starting.
Well,
like that, because they said something about it not being a server issue.
I have it right here. So BioWare at the VIP demo, update from BioWare's head of live service, and I'm not going to read everything. Chad Robertson, he wrote on January 26th, yesterday was rocky. The first day of our VIP demo weekend did not go exactly as we planned, and I want to share what happened. We've been testing the entire game and platform for several months, but there were a few things we missed. Real-world play frequently leads to unexpected issues. Before I share details on this and what we're still facing, I want to dispel one comment we've seen, that we underplanned for server capacity. To ensure stability, we intended to manage our servers to match the player population as it grew. Overall, we had excess capacity prepared for population increase and continue to do so. That said, what's important is that all parts of the game worked as designed to meet players' needs, and that did not happen in the opening hours. While there are a number of issues we dealt with yesterday, there were three primary areas where platform connections, entitlements, and infinite loads. And their top priorities is continue to resolve any reports of issues with login and entitlement problems, implement fixes to address, and improve server performance. And then if everybody want to read the rest of it, you can go over to blog.bioware.com for that.
Word.
So, but my thing is that because they're saying that they test the way that they were playing it in house, that everything was running smoothly, but they didn't expect it to be any problems when they put it online. Well, of course, you're testing it in house, so you're running everything online and stuff within house. You didn't put it into the real world. So if you're running it in house, you're probably running it on powerful PCs, and everything is just running as going as planned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's what these demos are gonna be for, though, right? Is like this is how they're testing it in the real world, so it doesn't happen on day one. So
yeah, the optimization is I think that's what it ends up being, is it's an optimization issue where it, like I said, like there's so many possibilities when you're playing the game of choices and things, that if for some reason one little thing just doesn't quite line up, that could cause the whole entire game to just not work. And unfortunately, that kind of stuff is gonna be something you deal with any beta or any, because it's not a full build. It's missing a lot of the game, and they had to hope that they coded everything together and cut things off and all that to make it still run the way it was. Like it's Frankenstein. It's basically a Frankenstein chunk of a game that they gotta hope works.
I think what their expectation was, because of the closed alpha, that closed alpha is a sign of that when they put it on the real world, it'll be the same thing, that everything just works up the gate. But the closed alpha had
a lot of problems. It had a lot of problems, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people had to spend about a half an hour to an hour of just closing it, log in, closing it, log in, closing, and just hoping eventually you'd get logged into it. So because it wasn't connecting at all.
So the same thing that was happening with the closed alpha is similar to what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's just not as bad this time around.
Okay.
Like, so it was way worse in the alpha. Now you at least had somewhat of a chance of getting in. Then it was like you could just bet on it taking 45 minutes to even be able to get a chance to get in. So yeah, they did improve things, but it's still, obviously they still were missing something that wasn't allowing it to be 100% success. And
sadly, they have 5 weeks to get this together. No, 4 weeks, I think, to get this together.
Well, like I said, I honestly think that this was just the alpha. I think that's what they had to secure as being their thing that they were going to release.
I think they should have.
And until it was released as a beta, they weren't able to really work on it until now. But
yeah. So, but we want to know what you guys think about games as service demos. You guys could email the show. One second, at arsenalxpodcast@gmail.com. You guys could join our Facebook page, Arsenal X NGR Radio's Xbox Podcast group. And like Corey said, to win the contest for 3 months of Game Pass, you have to A, subscribe to the YouTube channel. B, join our Facebook page. C, post a picture in the memory of that you had of our with your Xbox, and that's it. Correct, Corey?
Correct.
Yes. You can also follow us on Twitter at Arsenal X Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Arsenal X Podcast. And we would love to have you guys join us on our Arsenal X Podcast group on Clubs. So when you guys tune in to Windows 10 or Xbox, just type in Arsenal X Podcast group and join us there. We would love to play with you guys. Corey, where can we find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at CorianHD713. You can find me on Instagram and Twitch at CorianHD. And you can find me on various other content here on NGRradio.com.
Jesse, where can we find you at?
You You can find me on Twitter at Phantom Meg at AX.
You guys can find me on Twitter at that retro code. You can also read this week's optional opinion special blogs on ngrradio.com. Join us here on YouTube at Arsenal X Podcast channel every Wednesday. We have also AX Plays, Squad Goals, and more content. Also, if you guys are digging Anthem, come on and be a Javelin and subscribe to Javelins for Hires here on YouTube. Also, if you guys are an agent, join the guys from dang it, I was gonna say Junkies for Hires. Dark Zone Junkies. Forgive me, everybody. Dark Zone Junkies. And if you guys are still into Destiny or just a casual, kind of like me, you can also join Tower Casuals here on YouTube. These guys are doing great content, giving you up-to-date news about what's been announced, what's been showcased, and they're giving you their viewpoints and opinions about the news that come out of here. So if you guys are interested into these games and these series, join each of those, and we would love to hear your guys' comments and discuss. You guys join the discussions for that. So with that, everybody, we're gonna throw up the X one more time. Because we are exiting out of here. Everybody have a great week. Have a great weekend. Hopefully you guys who did get to play Anthem did enjoy it and look out for more. With that, everybody, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.